and the people of God edified.
The thoughts, views, and comments expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production of Glory 93.9 FM.
Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. Wardrobe provided by Bahari Bahamas. Visit shopbahari.com.
Good morning and welcome to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm. So thankful to be here today, and I want to say thank you to all of you for tuning in. My apologies for the late start this morning. Having a little bit of a technical challenge, but we're going to get it done. So thank you, as always, for being a part of the show today. Well, yesterday we had an unexpected day off, and that is because we had some electrical problems. BPL was doing their thing, and electricity was out, and we need electricity to get the show done. So, yeah, we weren't able to do the show yesterday, and that is why. But it's a pleasure to be back in your company today, as always. And what I've decided to do today is I'm going to do the show today that was planned for yesterday, right? Even though it's usually Wednesdays when I do a wellness show, I've decided that this information is too important not to do. And I didn't want to wait until next week. And so I've decided to do this show today. And this is going to be an eye-opening show because it's going to now start to put into question some of the things that that we have been told was the right thing. And now we are seeing where things are happening that are sort of putting into question whether or not we have taken the wrong dog to the hunt, whether or not we should have been considering other options as well, and not just the one that is being so heavily promoted. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I have to let you know now, it's going to be several clips that we get to. I don't know, with us starting so late today, I don't know that we will get through all of them, but we'll certainly try. Because I want you guys to just think, that's always what my goal is, just to get you to think. You have this incredible brain. And I've heard it said, I don't know if it's technically true, if it's scientifically true, but I've heard it said that we as humans only use about 10% of our brain power. 10%, I think, if that. So I am encouraging you today to just use your brain power. This incredible thing that you've been given, the ability to think. And I want to encourage you to think as we go through this topic, breakthrough, why we should be concerned about Delta and other variants. That's the topic of the show, breakthrough, why we should be concerned about Delta and other variants. And I don't have to tell you guys how much the Delta variant has been in the news around the world. Here at home as well, it's now starting to get a lot of attention. And that is because it is suspected that the Delta variant is here. Just ignore that last email I sent you. I tried to see if I could forward it to you from my phone, but it didn't give me the opportunity to share the clips with you, producer. So just ignore that. And I will see how quickly we can get this to, there you go. Okay, I'm about to send this to you now. So yeah, this is going to be an eye-opening show because it is highly believed that the Delta variant is here. And whereas we would have been hearing all of the warnings about the danger to the unvaccinated population, we are now seeing evidence that the vaccinated population is in danger as well. And so we are now seeing breakthrough cases in the Bahamas. I don't believe that we have received any kind of official word as yet. But we know of at least one death of a fully vaccinated person from COVID. And I suspect there may be others. But we just obviously have to wait until it's officially reported. So this is obviously something that we need to talk about because we have to understand, as I've been saying for months now, that the vaccine within itself is not a cure-all. And if you have challenges prior to taking the vaccine, health-wise, and you don't do anything to fix those challenges after you take the vaccine, then you are still going to be in trouble, unfortunately. And this is a message that we have not been hearing. So we're going to talk about it today. And producer, you can let me know when those clips are ready to roll so that we would be able to call for those clips. So before we do, let me refer to a recent article that appeared with regard to the WHO. And the WHO is now, the head of the WHO is now saying that it may not be a good idea to look to booster shots as the answer to this breakthrough situation. Yeah. Even though we have many doctors around the world, including here in the Bahamas, who are now in the face of all of these breakthrough cases saying, oh, well, let's now start, giving booster shots. We have to give more booster shots. 8 months later, the immunity starts to wane. So let's start dishing out booster shots. Well, now the WHO is saying, slow down, not so fast. We don't think that this is a good idea. And so now you have all of this confusion. Because on the one hand, the doctors are saying, okay, now we realize that you need a third shot, the booster shot, to give you more immunity. And the WHO is saying, we don't think that that's a good idea because that could lead to the spread of, or the increase in more virulent variants of the virus. So you have to question what's going on? Why are we getting all of these mixed messages? Because first you tell me that the vaccine protects me from the point where I won't become so sick that I will have to be hospitalized or die. Now we see that that is not so, that there are breakthrough cases that people are becoming ill enough to be hospitalized and now we know die. And then the next thing, of course, they say is, well, just vaccine more, booster. And now the WHO is saying, no, that's not the answer either. So have we taken the wrong dog to the hunt? And I want to talk today about what you can do to protect yourself beyond just what you've been told, because what you've been told alone obviously is not working. Producer, how are we looking? Number one? Which one is ready? So I'd like to start with the one with Nahaja. I spoke to Nahaja Black. Let me know if that's ready. Actually, it's the one that describes the Delta variant ready. My producer let me know when those videos are ready to roll. So Nahaja did a show, and just for the record, Nahaja is pro-vaccine, and I got her permission to air a clipping from the show. And you could see she was visibly moved, visibly upset in the show because it hit home. This was a friend of hers who passed away from COVID. Now, she had as her guest Dr. Dwayne Sands on the show, and they were discussing this particular case. I want you to hear it for yourself, so that it's not just me talking. How are we looking? What does that mean? He's doing like this. I don't know what. Huh? Okay, so they're still uploading. So yeah, I reached out to Nahaja after, and I said, I'm so sorry about the loss of your friend. But some experts have been warning for a long time that this would be a problem, and they're just not being heard. And I think it is time that we start listening, because people's lives are at stake. And so we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the Delta variant. We're going to talk about the booster shot. We're going to talk about the breakthrough cases, not just here in the Bahamas, but around the world. And then we're going to try to decipher through all of this to figure out what is the best approach for us to be taking. Because honestly, and I'm not saying in any way that you should disregard advice that is given, but, when it's seen to be today one thing and then tomorrow something else and then the day after something else, you have to start thinking, okay, what do I need to do to protect myself? Because I cannot solely rely on this information that's coming forward, because they're constantly moving the post, constantly changing the message. Rugga, you have a good point. Rugga says we want a magic pill, and that's the sad thing, because some people, they're unhealthy and they don't want to do what they need to do to get healthy. They just think that, I'll just take the vaccine and I'll be good. It don't work like that, people. Ready? Okay, we're ready to go with the clip. So let's go to the one with Nahaja Black first.
His wife died in his arms while he was trying to take her to the hospital. His wife was diagnosed with COVID on Friday. She died Saturday. And we were stunned by this because we're all the same age, and floored by how quickly and how violently things turned from laughing at the race with Sha'Carri Richardson to laughing and then coughing and uncontrollably to no more. And so that stunned us. What is even more scary to me was the way, and it was a violent kind of experience, and something that I've heard before. So there's this word, and I called some doctors, and they, the last one, an immunologist said to me, we have seen cerebral hemorrhaging from some patients. And that is a scary sight. And if I don't know if you remember Dr. Barnett, he and his family were going through, and his son, when he did a recent interview, talked about how his brother was spitting up blood. And this is now something that I'm not hearing it sufficient times to wonder if this is a part of COVID now, where we're talking about violent, not not just I can't breathe, but now where it is, we're talking about blood coming out of the eyes, the nose, the ears, cerebral hemorrhaging. Speaking to the immunologist, she said, we're trying to, research is there. We're trying to find out if it seems as if the Delta variant is attacking the blood. And the patient was on oxygen from being positive. It was, however, she was also type 2 diabetic. And however, she was fully vaccinated. This is the first case I have heard of a fully vaccinated person dying from COVID. So this now, I know, changes not the conversation, because we knew that there were these breakthrough cases of vaccinated people ending up in the hospital. But now I'm saying, but hold on. Not only are people possibly dying and fully vaccinated, but we don't know. This is the first one I know of, so I don't know. And this is not the official statement because, things are delayed, and I don't know if we don't know. Once I knew this was something we had to discuss, because this now takes it to a next level for me. Speaking with physicians now, speaking with doctors across all spectrums, sphere, using my Rolodex, Delta is scaring them more than ever before. This wave is considered the most scary. I asked Dr. Dwayne Sands to join me, cardiovascular surgeon and former Minister of Health, because I needed to figure out what is going on. What is happening? A fully vaccinated patient, but type 2 diabetic. So they were immunocompromised. We know that the immunocompromised persons are at risk. But the way that she passed away was not, the family is still in shock. And I got Dr. Dwayne Sands here. Doc, I know you heard all of that. You and I spoke, and I'm speechless and stunned, more so on not knowing what to say now. What is this now? What are we dealing with? What are we dealing with this virus?
First of all, let me express condolences to Avril's, to the family. This is somebody that I've known for many, many years, many decades. And it speaks to the evolution of COVID, and in particular, the devastating impact of Delta on what we think we know about managing COVID. Mm-hmm. And so as you listen to the Prime Minister of the Bahamas, as you listen to the President of the United States, as you listen to the Director General of the WHO, much of their commentary is based on information that we're now getting about Delta and the impact of Delta on the vaccinated and the unvaccinated. And so as the United States has modified its recommendations in the last 2 weeks, you would have first heard that immunocompromised people should get 3 shots as opposed to 2. And now it appears as if the recommendation will be that all Americans will be recommended to get 3 COVID shots, with the 3rd shot coming 8 months after completion of the first 2. And that is based in large part on data coming out of Israel that shows that there are a number of breakthrough cases.
How far do you have to go before you realize or admit that maybe we were a bit off with this? What I found it interesting when he said what we think we know. Did you hear that, producer? What we think we know about COVID. And now they're saying, okay, you have to take 3 shots. But here's the interesting thing. I finally found the article. I was searching for it as I was speaking. WHO leader pleads against booster shots, questioning efficacy and highlighting risk of more potent variants. It's the WHO, which they so like to quote. Furthermore, the WHO director called into question whether booster shots are effective at all. Stay with me. The World Health Organization is redoubling its appeal against COVID-19 booster shots as more wealthy countries move to offer a third dose, with the group's head on Monday calling for a 2-month pause to prioritize nations where vaccinations are severely lagging. WHO Director General pleaded with countries during a news conference in Hungary to share what can be used for boosters to help other places increase their first and second vaccination dosage, according to reporters at the event. He argued that the wealthy nations stockpiling the vaccine increases the risk of stronger variants, increases the risk that stronger variants will develop in countries with low inoculation rates. Not only could the hyper-infectious Delta variant become more virulent, but more potent variants could also emerge. This is the WHO head talking now. If the virus gets the chance to circulate in countries with low vaccination coverage. Furthermore, he called into question whether booster shots are effective at all. A comment that comes days after the organization's chief scientist said data today does not indicate that boosters are needed. The WHO head said that boosters should only be doled out to people with weak immune systems. Now, here's the thing. We've been saying this all along, even though people who need to listen ain't listening. If your immune system is compromised before you take the shot, first, second, or third, and you do nothing to improve your immune system, which the first, second, nor third shot will do. Whenever you are faced with a challenge, whether it be COVID, Delta, or anything else, your body will not be able to mount an adequate response. Now, those of you who've been listening to the show for a little while, y'all been hearing me say that over and over again, correct? This ain't the first time you hear me say that, right? We would have heard from Dr. Gerd van den Bosch, who warned of the possibility of creating a super virus, a strain of this virus that is so virulent that no vaccine, nothing will be able to address it, because you're creating the perfect breeding ground for variants, mutations, when you are mass vaccinating in the midst of a pandemic with a vaccine that does not stop transmission. Time and time and time again, we said that. But the narrative was, oh, that's just, you got to get vaccinated, because once you're vaccinated, you're protected against severe illness and death. So somebody explain to me what happened with that young lady, please. Because according to all the narrative that has been going on, even though she had a comorbidity, the vaccine would have prevented her from becoming so severely ill that she would have to be hospitalized, much less die. And now we're hearing, we have now questioning what we think we know. No, y'all wasn't thinking you know before. You were very, very strong in your stance. And you know what? I have to question whether or not she's the only breakthrough case that has died in the Bahamas. I saw a post of a taxi driver, have no way of confirming whether it's true or not, but I have seen a post of a taxi driver who was fully vaccinated in the Bahamas who died from COVID. Again, I have no way of verifying that. So the question has to be asked. Did we take the wrong dog to the hunt? Why did we not invite everyone to the table who has something to offer with regard to how we fight this thing? Because now we see Bahamians, at least one, who was fully vaccinated, dying from COVID. And don't tell me, well, Michelle, that's because she had a comorbidity, because that's the same thing you could say for non-vaccinated people as well. So what is the difference between the vaccinated and the non-vaccinated? Now, I know that the statistics show that most of the people in the hospitals are non-vaccinated people. And you know what? One of the things that Dr. Bosch has been warning is that when you have this large pool of vaccinated people who are potentially passing this virus from person to person, creating this perfect breeding ground, then really the unvaccinated are at higher risk because of all of this spreading of this virus going on amongst the vaccinated. So if it is that the vaccinated are making up most of the cases in the hospital, it could be because they are at higher risk now because of all this mixing up of this, vaccine between vaccinated people. Anybody ever thought of that? But no, that goes against the narrative. We have to take a break. When we come back, we're going to look at other countries where they're going through the same problem. And like I said, we here in the Bahamas may have more cases, we just don't know because they have not reported to us as it relates to that. The last reporting was that there were no deaths in the Bahamas of fully vaccinated people, but that has changed. And it'll be very interesting now to hear what they have to say and whether or not we're going to get a true reporting of what else is going on in this country. But we have to take a break. When we come back, we're going to look at what's happening in other countries around the world as it relates to these breakthrough cases. We gotta wrap our minds around this, people, because this is serious. This is serious. I really hope people start to listen. Let's take a break. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all: schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Alive. Alive. Believe in best. And by Tropical Gyros. Not just good food, it's an experience.
Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm, and we're doing yesterday's show today, talking about the Delta variant, and all of these booster shots are now saying they're needed, even though the WHO is now saying, no. Hold up. Put on some brakes. Not so fast. We're not sure those booster shots are effective. Meanwhile, we have at least our first case of a breakthrough case that has died here in the Bahamas. And before I go any further, I would like to extend my deepest condolences to the family of the young woman who lost her life. I'm so sorry for your loss. But it's a very sad day. So, you know, this problem isn't only happening here in the Bahamas. Elsewhere, particularly in countries where the vaccination rate is far higher than what it is here in the Bahamas, where they really, you know, followed the instructions and vaccinated the majority of their populations, they too are having problems. You heard Dr. Sands mention Israel in the clip with Nahaja. Well, Israel is a key example of the fact that they just probably didn't know what they were talking about when they were saying that the vaccine will stop you from being so sick that you have to be hospitalized, because that's certainly not the case in Israel. In Israel, get ready for that next clip, producer. In Israel, over 78% of their population is vaccinated. 78%. And yet, they are having a major problem with COVID outbreak right now. Let's go to that next clip.
Israel's nationwide vaccination campaign was hailed as a success story that helped to drastically reduce infections in the country. But the latest Delta variant outbreak has led to an increase in cases, and many experts believe that the crisis is far from over. Israel was one of the first countries to vaccinate a majority of its population in a very small amount of time. By June, the mandatory mask requirement was completely dropped, and the only COVID curbs that remained were regarding international travel. Now, the rate of infection has again risen to 5.4%, and the Bennett government has said that it will take necessary measures to avoid further lockdowns. As Israel's COVID wave continues to worsen, the country's top COVID official admits that authorities mishandled the crisis with regard to inoculating the unvaccinated. During an interview, Israel's coronavirus czar, Professor Salman Zarqa, said that COVID-19 is here and it will stay, and we may have to wear a mask for many months. While acknowledging the government's mistake, Zarqa said that officials were pressurized to formulate policies without sufficient data. Israel has one of the highest vaccination rates in the world, with 78% of the adult population fully vaccinated. Despite this, the country is currently witnessing a significant spike in cases. Our correspondent Jody Cohen has sent us more details in this next report from Jerusalem. Listen in.
Israel.
Yeah, sorry about that. I thought I had sent you the shorter version. So did you just hear what she said about we made a mistake and we were pressurized to make a decision without adequate information? Did anybody else hear that? Or was it just me? Did you hear that, producer? You heard it too? Okay, so it wasn't just me. I dare say that that's not only happening in Israel, but all over, where governments, including the Bahamas, are being pressurized to make decisions without adequate information. This is what the Israeli government is now saying. Oh, we made a mistake. But you know, we were being pressured to make a decision without adequate information. Really? So when people were asking y'all to slow down to get information and y'all were calling you anything but a child of God, now you come back and say, well, we made a mistake and maybe, and we were being pressurized to make a decision without, not really? Really? Now you come back with this? After you've already vaccinated 78% of your population? And you know, it's still being argued that vaccines work because the majority of people are not becoming so ill that they have to be hospitalized. Okay. Let me read a couple of your comments. You know, it's not just Israel. We're going to hear from another country as well. Okay, so Rugga says, people following titles and not educating themselves. These are men with titles, men with their own agenda. They are being pressured. They're being pressured. And that's painfully obvious. Siobhan says, what I have recently done was to step back from all these social media and conduct a total reset, because It seems that there is so much information, fake news, and some things ain't adding up. I strongly encourage each of you viewing here today to step back, pray, and ask God to guide your decision outside of the medical experts as to whether to get vaccinated or not. Be well informed and comfortable with your decision. Something is not right. Okay. Mary says, it is changing so often that it leaves me wondering if they know what they're saying. Well, the doctor now saying they have to revisit what they think they know. Stan Rand says, if a booster shot is needed, this means no one is fully vaccinated and admits that the vaccines are failing. Okay, I don't understand what you're trying to say there. It was a typo, obviously. Claudette says, you're always on point, Michelle. So Miko says, the longer the different variants of the virus lingers, the more adapted it becomes to our genetics. As the virus is passed on through our population genetics, it incubates between the unvaccinated and vaccinated. Every time the virus reproduces, it will get more resistant. Then it's only a matter of time before it mutates. Worst case scenario, a virus strain that is totally resistant to the vaccine, every infected being hospitalized. Well, this is what Dr. Vanden Bosch has been warning, that if you continue down this path, you are going to create or create the perfect ground for a mutated version of this virus that is so virulent that you could take boosters from here till Jesus come back and that ain't gonna make no difference, because that's how dangerous that thing is going to become. He's been warning of this for months. For months. People have not listened. Now you're talking about, well, we made a mistake and we were being pressured. So are the leaders of the world today puppets or men and women? Have you no backbone to stand up for what is right for your people? Or are you just, well, this is the way the world is going, so we gotta fall in line? Wow. Okay. Let me go to another clip. This one is from Indonesia, where cases are also rising again. Let's go to that clip. Do you have that one ready? Indonesia, let's go there.
Over the past few weeks, Indonesia became the epicenter of the pandemic in Asia, at one point peaking at more than 50,000 cases per day. While the worst seems to have passed, case numbers remain very high. And Indonesia's health ministry says the number of COVID infections among fully vaccinated medical workers in the capital, Jakarta, has been rising, with most of them catching the Delta variant. Our reporter Rizky Putra sent us the story.
Getting into her COVID protective gear takes some time and more than a little courage. But Nurse DeSanti is just glad to have equipment available. Right after graduating from nursing school last year, she was sent to the front line of the pandemic in Jakarta and became infected herself. A few months after she recovered, the second wave hit the country.
We used stretchers, wheelchairs. We even had to rotate the oxygen bottles for patients in the emergency room. And they kept coming and coming, even after we were out of beds and oxygen. Those who came had low oxygen levels. I was overwhelmed.
The intensive care unit at this hospital is still at full capacity, even though case numbers in the capital have been decreasing. Officially, COVID has claimed more than 100,000 lives in Indonesia, with many health workers among the victims. They've mostly been given the Chinese Sinovac vaccine. Now, medical staff like Dr. Puspita are getting a booster shot of Moderna to better protect them.
I'm really tired. This is just me, but when there are a lot of cases, I start talking to myself. This is insane. I have to work with COVID-19 cases over and over. I often feel like crying, but then I realize I'm not alone. My colleagues are also working hard.
Doctors and nurses fully support the strict lockdown measures that the Indonesian government has enforced to flatten the curve. In Jakarta, roads have even been blocked to reduce mobility. Only those with the proper papers, like health workers, are allowed to pass. For weeks, Jakarta's big shopping malls remain closed, except for supermarkets. The malls will reopen in late August, but only to people with vaccination certificates. A trial program has already started. According to data from Jakarta state hospitals, the mortality rate during this second wave has been almost 4 times higher for the unvaccinated. Only 8% are fully vaccinated. And while the rate of infections may be falling in Jakarta, the Delta variant is now threatening Indonesia's poorly equipped regions.
So again, could a part of the reason be why the unvaccinated are really taking up the most cases, because they are at a higher risk now? Because if you look at the correlation between when mass vaccine rollouts happened in countries, you also will see that at that same time, there's a correlation between that and a spike in deaths. Now, I'm not saying that one is related to the other. I'm just saying that this is what has been happening. Mass vaccination rollouts, increase in deaths. And higher numbers of persons having to be hospitalized, unvaccinated, yes. So could it be that they are at higher risk because of the mass rollout of vaccinations that do not stop transmission? I'm just asking questions here. And I know that in today's world, that could be a dangerous thing to do, to ask questions. But it is what it is. I'm just asking questions. Because these are the kinds of questions that I would have hoped that our leaders and our healthcare professionals would ask. And I'm not convinced that they are. And maybe they are and they're just not telling us. I don't know. But could there be a correlation between the two? I think it's something that's worth investigating. So, Stanman is asking, how do we achieve herd immunity by trying to vaccinate everyone if it did not work for Israel? It didn't work for Israel. It didn't work for Indonesia, and it didn't work for many places around the world. Gibraltar, the Seychelles. Gibraltar is the most vaccinated country in the world, and they catch an eternal hell from COVID right now. So clearly, that strategy is lacking. That's the best way I could put it. That strategy is lacking. And, it would be one thing to say, well, Michelle, this is new to everybody. And, what did you expect? Nobody's ever seen this before. I agree. That's why you should listen to some of the experts in the field who've been sounding the alarm. Because we haven't seen this before. And these are virologists and experts who have been sounding the alarm. And you choose not to listen to them. But you go along with the global mandate because that's what everybody doing. And, in the playground, you got to go with it. You got to go with what everybody doing. Otherwise, you dare not stand out and stand on your own. No, that's death. You got to be with the crowd. The Israeli government is now saying that they were pressured. And I'm going to play a clip a little later in the show that will confirm that possibility. So this thing's so deep, y'all. This is deep. Rugga says they got paid to push this. Every address was a commercial. Let's see. Rugga says lost old people falling asleep at the wheel. Oh boy. Sam says Japan halts 1.6 million doses due to floating objects in the medicine. Let's see. Let's go to a couple more of your comments. Clarence says, Michelle, you are the only talk show host, as a matter of fact, the only public figure who was telling us about an alternative to this COVID-19. You were informing us from day one. I tried, Clarence. I honestly did. I tried. And some days I became just so despondent. You know what? I went to bed some nights saying, now I know how Noah felt. Noah in the Bible. You know the story of Noah in the Bible when he was trying to warn the people and nobody would do. Boy, shut up. You stupid, retarded self. You're on your bill and boating and nobody ever see rain. You're this crazy, retarded self. You need to go call the bus for Sandilands and pick you up because you crazy. And he was right there building that boat. You know how many years it took Noah to build that boat? He ain't built that boat no 6 months, you know. Go do your research and see how many years it took Noah to build that boat. Years. So he was taking plenty chafing for years. This was a no 6 months build. And they call him everything but a child of God. Then when the rain started coming down and the flood started going up, then all of a sudden he ain't crazy no more. Too late then. Sometimes I understand how he felt. Because you feel like you're trying your best to warn people. And I ain't no expert. But my God, we should listen to those who are. That's what I would think. But no, that they going against the global narrative. And don't you know, we have to be a part of this one world order. I would think that your priority should be the health and welfare of your people. Not keeping up with the global agenda. Let's see. Let me read one or two more of your comments. Marcia says, why are we not treating the sick with other known protocols at work? I have a dear friend who just recently beat COVID, this latest variant. And she is an anti-vaxxer. And she works in the healthcare industry. And she said, Michelle, I thought that I, was going to die at some point. It was bad. But her immune system, with the help of some remedies other than the vaccine, she's now COVID-free. Her immune system did that. And like I said, some other remedies that some local doctors have that are being ignored. She's now COVID-free. So you are able to beat this thing without that vaccine. You are. They're not telling you that. The message is take the vaccine or risk dying. Well, we now have a Bahamian woman who unfortunately passed away fully vaccinated from COVID. And perhaps, had she been told that her type 2 diabetes was nothing more than a nutritional deficiency, perhaps, had she been put on chromium and vanadium, perhaps, if efforts were taken to, tell her that she could be healthier, perhaps she would still be here. And this is no disrespect to her family. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you at all, because I can only imagine your pain. I'm just disappointed that we as a nation have taken this position of only singing this one tune, knowing that so many of our people are ill. I'm very, very, very disturbed and bothered by that. Very bothered by that. When I asked Nahaja, what type of diabetes did she have? She said type 2. I was like, oh, man. That's a simple nutritional deficiency. Could have been helped. Anyway, I get tired, y'all. I really get tired. I ain't gonna lie. I get tired. Because you feel like you're doing your best to warn people, and they not only are people not listening, but some of them want to insult you. It's a scary thing to watch. Anyway, let's take this break. When we come back, we're going to hear of yet another nation that is dealing with the same problem. Highly vaccinated, people receiving the vaccine, and yet people are still losing their lives as a result. So we're going to talk about that on the other side of the break. Let's go to a break.
Looking for an extraordinary junior high school with caring, qualified staff and affordable tuition? Then come visit us at Elite School of Excellence, an affiliate of First Step Academy. ABECA-focused and Ministry of Education approved, we foster discipline, integrity, and wisdom while molding our students for success. Call us at 341-8846 or stop by First Step Academy Schools on Fire Trail and Soldy Roads for more information.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Escape from the city life to Bacon Air Beach Resort in Piratesville, Mayaguana. Relax in one of 16 air-conditioned rooms just steps away from the ocean. Enjoy scrumptious dishes in our waterfront dining room. Sip on a tropical cocktail, or if you must, stay connected with wireless internet. Nestled on one of the most beautiful beaches in the Bahamas, Bacon Air Beach Resort offers a unique vacation experience. For reservations, call 339-3726 or 463-0182. This portion of GPS is brought to you by Easy Car Sales, home of the electric vehicle. Visit easy242.com and free yourself from gas. And by Crystal Clear H2O Alkaline Water. Come visit us in our new location in the Jams Plaza on East Street South.
And welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I want to remind you that Easy Car Sales has a promotion going on. You can go to easy242.com and you can book a free test drive of one of their fantastic electric vehicles, and you could be eligible to win a tablet. But the real prize is that you will get to experience what it's like to drive one of those fantastic electric vehicles. Trust me when I tell you, it is sweet. It's sweet. It's sweet. It's sweet. It's sweet. So yeah, definitely check that out. Easy242.com. Go ahead and book yourself a free test drive. And because you know what? Somebody just told me the other day, gas now over $5 a gallon. How much? Wow. That's crazy, y'all. So we need to be looking at the electric vehicles. That's money you ain't going to spend on gas. Over $5 a gallon. And see, we so distracted with everything else is going on that just creep right up and we didn't even realize. When somebody told me that, I said, you serious? Yeah, y'all, it's not been that high in a long time. So yeah, go check out easy242.com. Make sure you book to do a free test drive, make yourself eligible to win that fantastic prize, but also free yourself from gas, especially at $5 and change a gallon. That's a scary thought. All right, so let's get back to what we're talking about today, trying to check out these breakthrough cases that's happening around the world and this Delta variant that is now, putting not just the unvaccinated, but the vaccinated are at high risk for Delta and its terrible effects as well. So this is what we're talking about on the show today. So let's see. Claudette says, Dr. Sands was on the radio Saturday of last week, and he said that he took 2 of the Pfizer and 1 AstraZeneca. He also said that they are trying to come up with some other alternative for the Bahamian people that won't get them sick as these. Well, I don't know if he said that. I have to hear that for myself. Yeah. Let's see. Siobhan says, not a virologist, epidemiologist, nutritionist, and alternative experts on this COVID-19 Health Council. So, I think you meant to say not a virologist, epidemiologist, nutritionist, or alternative expert are on the COVID-19 Health Council. So where is the fair, balanced approach to informing the general public? Good question. 120 years, Anton says. That's how long it took Noah to build the ark. 120 years. So you could imagine for 120 years, people calling him stupid. You crazy old man. 120 years. He take plenty chafing. And Noah had plenty faith, eh? Because most of us would have said, "My Lord, I think you need to find somebody else. I died of being, ostracized. Everybody thinking I'm crazy." 120 years he built an ark on dry land. Yeah, Noah, you were good. Siobhan Hollis, somebody's answering you because most of them have sold out to the higher cabal, sold their nation out. Peter Skinner says, "Tell him, Michelle." Let's see. Bertha says John the Baptist was the one crying in the wilderness. Yeah, but Noah was for a long time trying to warn the people that something was coming, and they wouldn't listen. Mandy says your natural immune system is your greater defense. Well, I keep saying this, y'all. Vaccines only work with your immune system. They trigger your immune system to respond. That's what vaccines do. So if your immune system is in trouble, how is it going to respond to the trigger? I'm not even going to go down the road of, what's in the vaccine and what could possibly happen in the future and side effects. I even ain't going there today. I even ain't going to go there. I'm just trying to focus on the fact that your immune system is key to this discussion. And you could take 1,000,001 booster shots, but if your immune system is compromised, then what? Every 8 months, it can wane again? And now we hear governments like Israel now say, well, maybe we made a mistake, and well, actually we were pressured without information. Duh! Boy, I tell you. People, we've been trying to sound this alarm for a long time, and people still ain't listening. They still ain't listening. Well, that's just one case, Michelle. That's just one case. How many more people has it helped? Okay. All right. All right, let's go to another clip. This one is about the situation in Lesotho, where they're rolling out the vaccination program, and they're seeing something unusual happening there as well. Let's go to that clip.
With a population of less than 2 million of adult population, Lesotho is ambitiously aiming to reach its herd immunity by December this year. With the largest assistance of the People's Republic of China's generous donation, the vaccination drive is getting a much-needed boost.
It's a great pleasure for me to hand over officially to Honorable Minister of Health the 200,000 Sinopharm vaccines donated by the government of the People's Republic of China to the government of the Kingdom of Lesotho.
The Republic of China is pledging millions of dollars to COVAX as assistance to bridge the vaccine gap in developing countries.
Earlier this month, actually, President Xi Jinping has announced that China will strive to provide 2 billion doses of vaccines to the world. And also that China will donate $100 million to COVAX in order to facilitate the transportations of vaccines to developing countries. We will continue to the best of our capacity to provide assistance, especially vaccines, to all other countries in the world.
But the vaccination drive is dealt a harsh blow following reports of 5 vaccine-related deaths. The minister says high-level investigations are in place and the show must go on.
We quickly assembled our local team of experts here to do the investigation. And then we were quickly supported by WHO and AU to come with more experts to come and do the investigations. So there's nothing we can say about the deaths at this point in time, except to say we are indeed sorry that people have died. But whether they are associated, their death is associated with the vaccine or not, is something that we need to investigate.
Could it be a coincidence that it happens in Leribe at the same time?
We don't know. This is why the investigations will actually say what actually happened in Leribe. We have vaccinated, like I said, almost 124,000 people so far, and none of them have suffered this unfortunate death.
Okay, so that's the situation in Lesotho. So I see where there are a couple of comments here. So Claudette is saying, Michelle, I did hear him say that. Wow. And Anton says, Dr. Sands did say what was mentioned. That is very interesting. Claudette says, I was wondering what he meant by that. Agatha says, the Bahamas is full of unhealthy people who don't care about themselves until they are sick. You know what? I found that more and more people are very interested now in getting healthier because they're scared. They don't want to die from COVID. And from what we're hearing, it's not a pleasant death. So Gabriel says, Michelle, your eyes are very white and pretty. Mine are red. What you doing? Gabriel, you don't watch my show on Wednesdays, eh? Every Wednesday I tell you what I'm doing. I'm a health coach. I'm a healthy person. I take very good nutrients. So if your eyes are red, that's your body's way of telling you that something is wrong. So you need to listen to your body and figure out what's going on. So I have pinned on the top of my Facebook page a health evaluation link. Go ahead and fill that out, and then we'll contact you to help you figure out what's going on in your body. Clarence says, Michelle, when you use Noah Ark as an example, it caused me to think animals are very obedient, men are very rebellious, and they are why God is allowing this. When God created man, he gave man dominion over the earth. So all the things that is going on in this world, man is to blame. God don't make mistakes. He can't lie. Interesting. All right. Okay. You heard the clip from Israel where the government of Israel is now saying that they were pressured into making decisions without adequate information. You heard that, right? Okay. All right. You heard that. Just making sure they only me. So, it's interesting because it seems that Pfizer, which is one of the companies that produces the one of the vaccines that's now available around the world, including here in the Bahamas. When I was growing up and you tried to exert certain pressure on people who were weaker than you, we would call you a bully. We would say you are a bully. Well, in this next clip, you're going to hear some bullyish behavior on the part of Pfizer, which sort of gives credence to what the government of Israel is now saying, that they were pressured into making decisions without adequate information. Let's go to that clip about Pfizer, please.
Terror comes in many forms, they say. Sometimes it's from the neighborhood. Sometimes it's online. Sometimes it's from those you entrust with saving lives. Vaccine makers, for example. While countries like India are sending free vaccines to poorer nations, there are companies like Pfizer which are bullying governments. It's a story in contrast, and what a stark contrast this is. The US-based company Pfizer is holding governments to ransom, interfering with their legislation, even demanding military bases as guarantee. Would you believe it? A vaccine maker asking for a country's military base in return for vaccines. On Gravitas tonight, we'll bring you 2 horror stories from Latin America and the bizarre demands that Pfizer is making. Let's start by looking at Pfizer's business in the region. It has vaccine deals with 9 Latin American countries: Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, Mexico, Panama, Peru, and Uruguay. 2 major Latin American nations are missing from this list: Argentina and Brazil. Neither has a deal with Pfizer, but both have a story to tell. Let's start with Argentina. Talks between Argentina and Pfizer began in June 2020. In July, President Alberto Fernandez held a meeting with Pfizer's CEO in Argentina. Guess what followed? Pfizer asked to be compensated for the cost of any future lawsuits. What does that mean? Say someone files a civil lawsuit against Pfizer in Argentina, and if that person wins the case, who pays the compensation? It won't be Pfizer. It would be the government of Argentina. Now, Argentina had never done this before, but it made an exception. It needed life-saving vaccines, and desperate times call for desperate measures. So Argentina's parliament passed a new law in October 2020. But Pfizer was unhappy with its phrasing. The law said Pfizer needs to at least pay for negligence, for its own mistakes, if it happens to make any in future. Pfizer rejected this. It won't pay for its mistakes. Argentina then offered to amend the law to define negligence more clearly, to include only vaccine distribution and delivery under negligence. Pfizer was still not happy. It demanded the law be amended through a new decree. That's when Argentina put its foot down. They refused. Pfizer then asked Argentina to buy an international insurance. What for? To pay for potential future cases against the company. Argentina agreed. In December 2020, Pfizer came back with more demands. It wanted sovereign assets as collateral. What does that mean? Pfizer wanted Argentina to put, and listen to this, put its bank reserves, its military bases, and its embassy buildings at stake as collateral. Pfizer wanted Argentina to put its sovereignty at stake for what? Just to secure vaccines. There is no doubt that Pfizer is sitting on a pile of life-saving drugs. But what gives it the right to bully a government? Profiteering from your plight and mine. You see, vaccine manufacturers have always enjoyed a certain amount of liability waiver. Say you receive a vaccine from Pfizer, you have adverse effects because of the jab. You can always go ahead and file a lawsuit against the company. And if you win that lawsuit, instead of Pfizer, it will be the government that will be compensating you. And this is a normal practice. In the United States, for example, the PrEP Act, that's the Public Readiness and Emergency Preparedness Act, gives total immunity to companies like Pfizer and Moderna. But this is only if something goes wrong unintentionally. This does not apply to negligence. Pfizer is not happy with that. It wants more, not just sovereign assets, but a fraud insurance. Argentina was not okay with this. What about Brazil? What did Pfizer do in Brazil? The world's 3rd most affected country. Pfizer went a step ahead and asked Brazil to create a guarantee fund and deposit money in a foreign bank account. On the 23rd of January 2021, Brazil's health ministry put out this statement, citing excerpts from Pfizer's pre-contract clauses. These are Pfizer's demands. Look at this. Number 1, Brazil waives the sovereignty of its assets abroad in favor of Pfizer. This is a vaccine company. Number 2, that the rules of the land be not applied on Pfizer. Number 3, that Brazil take into consideration a delay in delivery. Number 4, that Pfizer is not penalized for a delay in delivery. And number 5, in case of any side effects, Pfizer be exempted from all civil liability. The government of Brazil calls these clauses abusive. And they're right. It goes without saying, the Pfizer deal with Brazil failed too. This is a report by the Bureau of Investigative Journalism. It talks about a 3rd country, one whose deal with Pfizer was reportedly pushed back by 3 months. Why? Because Pfizer made similar bizarre demands. The company has just 2 billion doses to deliver this year, and that is on a first-come, first-served basis. A delay of 3 months can cost a whole year, and it can cost a lot of lives. Pfizer is playing with life-saving drugs. It is abusing its position, and having developed a vaccine with the help of government funding, it is now throwing tantrums at governments. Did you know that Pfizer's German partner BioNTech was given $445 million by the government of Germany? The US paid Pfizer $2 billion as early as July 2020. This was against pre-orders. Pfizer is looking at making $15 billion from vaccine sales this year. It is in talks with 100 countries and organizations. There is no dearth of money for this company. Why then is Pfizer bent on squeezing desperate countries of their assets?
If you don't see what's going on here, you don't want to see it. Why does Pfizer need a military base as collateral? How sick are these people? Why? And now, we could understand why Israel say, well, we were pressurized into doing this without information. They try. This is sick. This is nothing short of, you know what I call it? Tyranny with a needle. Everybody around here talking anyhow. I don't get banned from YouTube. They put me in YouTube jail again. So if I say what I'm about to say, they probably would ban me for life. This is tyranny with a needle. Why you need to hold on to my military base as collateral? Why? You so interested in health. We want the world to be safe. But you better give me everything you own, otherwise you ain't getting none. And we acting like these people are the saviors of the world? When they clearly have an agenda? This is nothing short of sick. This is nothing short of sick. And so if you have weak leaders who ain't gonna stand up to them, ain't gonna stand up to nobody. If the world agenda is we going with this, yes sir, we going with that, yes sir. Bahamas, count us in. We there, we in. So Les says, exactly, Michelle. So if you resist, they can take the military, they can use the military against the people. Oh, boy, I tell you. Tyrone says they are gangsters. Honestly, they might as well start flashing signs. they might, you know how them gangsters have their little hang and sing little thing? They might as well start flashing signs. Because they're gangsters. Tyranny with a needle. My God. Now you're talking about, well, now we have to rethink what we thought we knew, what you thought you knew. You're supposed to know before you start shoving this thing down people's throat. Do your best to find out as much as you can. But now I'm starting to understand why that hasn't been happening, because all kind of pressure. What kind of pressure were we under? Our leaders. What kind of pressure? To toe the line. To fall in. I can only imagine. Rugger said the gang signs are ready on the road. Rugger, you ain't easy. Oh, Lord, I tell you. This is a serious problem, though. This is a very serious problem, y'all. Because here it is that many people followed the instructions because they thought that, this is in the best interest, and this is what they, I heard a lot, this is what, modern science, I'm following modern science. This is what the science, but every day they change them out, every day. Well, maybe not every day, but I find it interesting that now the WHO is saying booster shots don't necessarily work. And how many booster shots you gonna have to take before you realize that you maybe should consider something else? My God, if I get vaccinated today, 8 months later, I need another booster shot against, and I fully vaccinated? 8 months? Like, when will it end? Will it end? Will it be where every 8 months I got to come in for another shot? Like, when will the madness end? I could unsee the email now coming from YouTube. You are back in YouTube jail. My producer laughing. Yeah, they'll put me in jail. I done been in jail. I already checked to see if I out. I might still be in and don't even know. But it is what it is. I'm sorry. This is sad, man. This is sad that we will allow ourselves. Anyway, let me leave that. Let's take this last break. Let me take this break. When we come back, we're going to look at why this Delta variant is so virulent. We're going to talk about that on the other side of the break, and then we're going to talk about what we need to do. How can we live with these constant mutations? What can you do? We're going to talk about that on the other side of the break. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
One of the things I love about the mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy, with Mailboat's U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the Mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by
Classic Formal Wear, the place where you can find everything you need for that special occasion.
And by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
And welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm. We're talking about this Delta variant today and the breakthrough cases that we're seeing, not just around the world, but now here in the Bahamas. We've had at least one that we know of. Case of a Bahamian who was fully vaccinated who has died from COVID-19. At least one case that we know of. Okay, so let me read one or two of your comments. So Clarence says the Haitian president was against the vaccine. Soon as he was killed, they shipped 500,000 vaccines to Haiti, and the Haitian president wasn't buried yet. Well, guess what, y'all? The Haitian president wasn't the only leader of a country that stood against the vaccine who's now pushing up daisies. Do you remember the president of Tanzania who had said that they created this tonic, this all-natural tonic that killed COVID? And there was big news all around the world with him saying this is the real cure for COVID. Well, he gone to meet his maker. Gone. And there's at least one other leader, off the top of my head right now, I can't remember which country he's from, who stood in dead opposition against the vaccine, who is now dead. And they ain't died from natural causes either. Go figure. I ain't saying who responsible for nothing or nothing like that. I just talking, just, speaking truth. To treat them against the vaccine or treat them dead. Boy, and we heard people now saying you got to give me your military base if you want vaccine. I have never heard so much madness. These people, serious? They are a true cartel. That's the mafia. Boy, I tell you. Anyhow, Toriano says they soon put a price on them booster shots. Then things get then things get really real. Guess what, y'all? You may not have been paying for it, but governments are paying for those shots. They ain't free. You know how much people say they make? $15 billion with a B. It's how much they've made since this outbreak. $15 billion. That's just Pfizer. That ain't all the other companies. So, when you're talking that kind of money, let me not say that. When you're talking that kind of money, it would not be surprising that people lose their lives. I can put it like that. Because, for some people, money is their God. I want to go to the next clip. We're going to look in this clip about why is Delta so contagious. That's the clip I want you to play next, producer. Why is Delta so contagious? Let's go to that clip.
What makes people with the Delta variant so much more contagious? In trying to answer this, I think that we first need to go back to a term that once got a lot of airtime, but that many of you have probably since forgotten. And that's the basic reproduction number of a pathogen, or its R naught. Now, the R naught describes the average number of people that an infected person will infect in turn in an unexposed, unvaccinated population. When it first hit, the ancestral coronavirus had an R naught of around 2 to 3. So each infected person, on average, infected 2 to 3 others. But the original virus has since mutated into a range of variants, among them the Delta variant, and it's a lot more transmissible, with an R naught that's estimated to be twice as high, or maybe even higher. People who get the Delta variant are a lot more contagious than those who have other variants of the virus. So what exactly has raised the R naught in the Delta variant? Well, researchers think that 2 changes in particular are probably behind its increased transmissibility. The first involves a set of mutations that they say have altered the structure of the spikes that dot the outer surface of the virus. The spikes are what allow the virus to latch on to receptors on a cell's outer membrane and break into it. And scientists believe that changes to the Delta variant spikes have made that break-in process easier. The second change involves how much of the virus is being produced by cells. One study found that Delta variant patients had viral loads that were around 1,000 times higher than what's found in those infected with the original virus, with that massive replication also possibly happening a lot faster. All of those factors, scientists think, are contributors to making the Delta variant one of the most infectious respiratory diseases out there.
Okay, so I know he got a little technical, but hopefully you understood what he was saying. Bottom line is, yes, it's important that you continue to use precautions, continue to social distance, sanitization, washing your hands, wearing your mask, even though some masks are, pretty much just a fashion statement. But, I'm not saying that you should throw caution to the wind. You need to be careful. Yes, you need to ensure that that you protect yourself. But that cannot be enough. Even if you choose to be vaccinated, and it should be your personal choice, that still cannot be enough. You have to take better care of your body. You have to. This is no time to continue to damage your body. While COVID, the Delta variant, is floating around out there. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Malcolm.
Hey, what you saying, 52?
Yeah, how you doing? I appreciate you for bringing this up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, this is an untouchable subject, and so I was trying to really get the people to disclose the truth, but, obviously the truth is becoming a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I sent you something day before yesterday, concerning some emails. One was FDA and pharma emails, raise pay-for-play concerns, right? Another one is, why is the FDA funded by the companies it regulates? Those were the emails. Right now, what the public are being duped. Obviously, I've been saying the politicians, a lot of people being lying to the Bahamian people, and so, they're realizing that what I was saying actually exists, right?
You've been saying this from I was on the other, on any other station.
And also, about the fastness of the vaccination and immunity and so. But I understand the science, so I guess I'm a dummy. But what I want to get on with is you talking about the fact that geopolitical
tyranny,
desire for sovereign assets, right? Geopolitical sovereign assets, right? And so, what is hurtful to me, Ms. Malcolm? People like you, and I saw you lose a brother like KCX because I never really got a chance to meet him. I only met him at the World Trade Organization march, right? And so it's hard for us to really. I mean, me, I don't really need a platform. Some people they lambast me. I'm all in ignorance, and it's very painful for me. it's very painful for me because I have no desire to come on air and lie. I'm not a pundit. Like I explained to people, I'm a college dropout. I understand the science. I did sciences, biology, agriculture, chemistry, all of these different things. So I understand the science. And I tell you, the people are not being truthful to us. And so what we must realize is that Big Pharma fund these studies. I don't know. I sent you a clip about Brandy Vaughan, the lady who worked for Vioxx, who was testifying against Merck and against the Vioxx. She gave evidence to show that they knew that this chemical, this drug, was causing deaths in people and had drastic side effects. They knew these things from the adverse events. And so big pharma, big companies, they play a role. It's a book that I read from 2000 before Google. This for all the haters out there. It named Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About by Kevin Trudeau. And in that book, he discredited the Federal Trade Commission, the FDA. All of those people are complicit with big pharma.
Mm-hmm.
Then this is the data now. They said about a third of the executives that leave the Food and Drug Administration, they end up going working for big pharma.
Mm.
So that's like if I was a DEA agent and I go work for Joe Lilo.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't these people. But Ms. Malcolm, keep up the works. I really, I'm not in. I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but I'm not going to be impeded by ignoramuses, educated or not. What I'm saying is, if the truth have to come out, see, God is revealing the truth. You remember now with the breakthrough cases like Ms. Malcolm?
Mm-hmm.
How come no geniuses? See, I think the biggest mistake with Dr. Minnis made was moving Dr. Dwayne Sands from Minister of Health. I love Nakia Forbes because Nakia Forbes disclosed subsequently about antigenic shift under the vaccines wouldn't work. But what happens is now, why is it that no geniuses have asked how long this induced vaccine makes the body produce spike proteins? Because I'm now see if people are dying post-vaccination and they're supposed to have immunity. So the fact that you have a bunch of ignoramuses of a talk show host, they think antibodies is the holy grail of immunity. And I said on Warren McCartney's show, the immunity would equals the antibody death rate versus the mutation rate. But because they didn't understand my concepts and I'm way above them, they want to fight me down. And I have a nice conversation with Dr. Archer the other day. Everybody admits they don't know everything. But the thing is, all of that I've learned, I'm able to learn because I went to school and I'm learning from doctors. Dr. Dolores Cahill, Dr. Woodruff Wolfgang, Dr. Kurt Vandenbosch, Dr. Eric Lander, Dr. Sam, all of these people on the internet. If you're not understanding the science, we are enslaving ourselves because I noticed you said medicine, needle dictatorship, but I call it scientific dictatorship before the fools even know what it was. They say I'm arrogant, but I think it's confidence. I think they get an arrogant and confidence mix up. But when it comes to speaking the truth, you could say whatever, but Ms. Malcolm, I'm disappointed in the collective sheep and the fact that we are exposed to global television network and we're still being lied to. And people are dying and people are still lying. So the Haja Black show yesterday, she wanted to know why the authorities didn't disclose the fact that the two elderly couple, one of which is my family, died, but they didn't mention the fact that they were vaccinated.
Oh, there's,
so what
so
I'm
there's
saying is,
more. I didn't hear her show yesterday.
Yes,
so
there's more. Yes, we know it's more. But the God is revealing the truth. But the thing is,
and they
but
just
Ms.
ain't
Malcolm,
telling
the integral
us.
question is, you might believe it, an integral molecular question is, how long does the body produces this spike protein? This spike protein is injected into the interstitial tissue, interstitial, which is blood. So it's not like if I'm taking an oil vaccine and you have knowledge of this also, the stomach will impede some of the toxins in the adjuvant. So it'll be less toxicity on the liver versus me putting a vaccine in my interstitial tissue that travels all throughout the body and it produces spike proteins. And as these spike proteins move to the vein systems where their veins are restricted and not as elastic as they should be, you will have a blood clot and then inflammation from the scarring of the endothelial tissue. And so what happens is all the platelet cells will move to the area. Platelet cells, another name is thrombocytes.
They
so
start
they move to
sticking
the area of
together.
blood clots. That's why you have low platelet blood counts. Ms. Malcolm, the thing is, what I'm vexed about is that these people want to put a monopoly on education. I want you to just look into the Abraham Flexing report. Somebody sent me something about how John D. Rockefeller them hijacked the medical institute and medical education.
Yeah, I did
and
that
not
show in the
funding.
other place, yeah.
Yeah, and so these things exist. So I was trying to get the fools to read the Abraham Flexing report. And I also told them talking about the PCR test without talking about the cycle threshold is futile. And talking about the efficacy of these clinical trials that they fund themselves and they dredge the data without talking about relative risk reduction versus absolute risk reduction. If you could articulate to the people, and the people know we're being lied to, spied upon, whatever, man, it's not it all over for us right now. I'm telling you, the people, they see what's going on. My people, But see, the thing is, the people think I look up for notoriety. I ever call my name on the radio, Ms. Malcolm? I don't pan out.
Right.
I might as well be a teacher. I got to teach my little daughter. You teaching people. Will we teach some people teaching their children how to rob and teach, or how to do this ill-gotten, create ill-gotten gifts. There's a lot of things we teach. We all are teachers. But the thing is, the more the people talk, the more I realize how much I know more than them and how they're not thinking.
All right.
All right. All right. Have a good day. Thank you, Ms. Malcolm.
All right, 52. Thanks so much for calling, eh? Yeah, 52 used to call my show from even in the other place. He used to be one of my regular callers. Oh, boy. Y'all, it's only a matter of time. Hopefully the truth will come out sooner than later. Tyrone says, why all the lies? Come out and be real. Well, Tyrone, they are under pressure. They're under pressure. You get the people from Israel say, we were pressurized and we didn't have enough information and they were pressuring us. And they're the big bullies. And you ain't had the cojones to stand up and say enough. So, your people got to deal with the consequences of your decision making. Tamika says, I don't like the fact that we're not being honest about this entire situation. But yet, when you try to warn people, this chair sinking down, you are the enemy. They won't cut your throat because you're trying to sound the alarm. I've had it happen. I mean, attack. So, okay then. I ain't got nothing else to say. It's a serious thing. So, final clip of the day. I had one more, but I don't think I can play that last one. The one I want to go to next is, how can we live with constant mutations? Because I want y'all to know that this ain't gonna stop. And even Fauci has said it's only going to get worse. He was truthful about something. It's not going to stop because they continue to do this mass vaccination campaign with a vaccine that does not stop transmission. So this virus is having a party. Perfect ground for mutations. It ain't gonna stop. So now you got to figure out how you're going to live with this. Let's go to the next clip.
Dangerous and lethal strains of the coronavirus are spreading across the globe, overwhelming healthcare systems. Some are close to collapse.
WHO has warned that the COVID-19 virus continues to change. So far, 4 variants of concern have emerged, and there will be more as long as the virus continues to spread.
As the worst case scenario, the British Scientific Advisory Group for Emergencies fears a potential future variant could be far more deadly than existing ones. They could even evade current vaccines one day. It appears the total eradication of the virus will be unlikely. But how can we live with its constant mutation?
That's a $20 million question. How can we live with its constant mutation? Because now they're a little late to the table, but they finally realizing, well, some people are, not everybody. Some people still pushing this vaccine narrative. But some people are now coming to the realization after looking at what is happening around the world in countries that have very, very high levels of vaccination and that now have cases that are exploding, like Israel, like Indonesia, like the Seychelles, like Gibraltar. People are now realizing, okay, so this isn't quite the answer, even though some still talking about booster shots. When will it end? And now to hear that same narrative that Dr. Gert Vanden Bosch pushed months ago about the possibility of developing a strain that is so virulent that no vaccine, no medication will be able to stop it. That is what we are creating. I am not trying to be the prophet of doom. I'm just trying to tell you the truth. So what can you do? Ladies and gentlemen, y'all know my answer already. Those of you who watch my show all the time, y'all know exactly what I can say. Take care of your body, people. Nutrify your body in the name of Jesus. Take care of your body. Stop eating bad foods that are destroying your immune system. Stop eating gluten. That's tearing up the villi in your gut, which is causing you not to be able to absorb nutrients, which means no nutrients are getting into your bloodstream, which means they can't go to places like your bone marrow, which means your bone marrow can't do its job to produce the virus-fighting blood cells that it needs to produce, which means that even with a vaccine, I feel like Noah, I tired saying the same thing. And ain't nobody listening. Well, maybe some people are, but not enough. Stop eating fried foods. Stop drinking rum. It weakens your immune system. Stop eating white sugar. It weakens your immune system. Stop with the fried foods. Stop with the gluten. Stop damaging your body. Nutrify your body, people. Nutrify your body, people. Give your body something to fight with. The Delta variant is very, very real. And if, God forbid, they are right, and this continues to mutate and something comes out worse, my God. If any time is for you to take serious your health, it's now. What you waiting on? Please, people, start taking better care of your health. That is a major component in this fight. For whatever reason, that has been ignored or downplayed. And I dare say that's perhaps the first thing we need to be doing. It can't be where you're telling me avoid it by washing my hands, staying away from my friends and family, and wearing a mask so I could avoid contact. And then take this vaccine even though you could still contract it and pass it on. And then you ain't gonna tell me nothing about strengthening my body, my immune system? You ain't gonna tell me nothing about that? But now I understand why. Because the big boy bullies telling y'all, y'all need to follow these instructions or else. I mean, it's clearly evident that our leaders are under pressure, global pressure, to fall in line. So whatever it takes. People, nutrify your body, yeah? Make sure that you are a walking picture of health. If you choose to take the vaccine, that on you. If you don't take the vaccine, that on you. But no matter what you decide, please nutrify your bodies. Please take better care of your bodies. Please stop eating inflammatory foods. Please stop damaging your gut. Please. Final comment. Terry says, Ms. Malcolm, the fact that you were restricted on YouTube should be a wake-up call to the sheep. I sent you something on the sugar industry. They need to stop the Delta Scare conference. Showed the data. The virus is the same phenotype. All right. Yeah, Stanran. Stanran says, I have to take that health evaluation. Go, please, man. You're this type 2 diabetes, and I know it's 101 producer. I'm coming off now. Type 2 diabetes is a simple nutritional deficiency. You don't have to be living with that. High blood pressure is a simple nutritional deficiency. You don't have to be living with that. And don't tell me our people aren't incentivized to get healthier because you sure trying to incentivize them to take the job. So the same effort you put in that, put into getting people healthier. I stop, man. I stop. Listen, don't miss tomorrow's show. I have a major announcement that is going to be made on tomorrow's show. Tell a friend. Share the show. It's going to be a big one. Do not miss tomorrow's show. Huge, huge announcement. Emma, send the link, please, you say. Emma, the link is on the Facebook page. It's pinned to the top of the official Michelle Malcolm Facebook page. So just go there and you'll see it. All right? Guys, don't miss tomorrow's show. Big announcement tomorrow. Big announcement tomorrow. And I'm so excited. But yes, it's 102. My producer looking at me with his side eye. You got to get off the air, y'all. I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thank you so much for joining us. And my sympathies to all who have lost loved ones, whether to COVID or diabetes or high blood pressure or anything else. It's too much death. It's too much death. My deepest sympathy to all of you. We can do this, people. We really can. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.